If you can't sleep, don't lie there trying to force it.
Welcome to already the 8th episode of our Soulful Sleep Masterclass. I'm talking to Dr. Shelby Harris, psychologist, sleep expert, our ambassador on sleep. And she's going to help you get through those days when you can't really properly sleep and how to solve that. We asked our social followers what the biggest issues were they were coping with when it concerned their sleep. And one of the things that came back strong was like waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to fall asleep again. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Oh yeah.
What to do if that happens to you? You wake up at 2 and you can't fall asleep anymore.
Super common problem. Super common. So one of the biggest things that I always talk about is, we mentioned it in one of the earlier classes too, is what you go to bed with that's on your brain will likely be there in the middle of the night. So if you are someone who says, I really have trouble in the middle of the night because I wake up and my brain is really active, that's where you really want to focus on the meditation, the worry moment, that sort of stuff before bed to try and quiet your brain down a bit. But other things to think about in the middle of the night, even at the beginning of the night, but if you can't sleep, don't lie there trying to force it.
No.
Most people when they wake up in the middle of the night, I know I've gotten to this habit too at times, you want to look at your clock. And then you start doing the math to say,
makes it worse.
I know, how many more hours until I have to get up? It makes it so much more worse because you're trying to force sleep to happen. And that's a recipe for disaster. So instead, give yourself about 10, 20 minutes to fall asleep. Go to the bathroom if you need to. And then if you don't fall asleep and you're getting just frustrated, go sit somewhere else. Go do something quiet, calm, relaxing, ideally without screens, because that can then make your brain wake up and you'll start looking, I know I do it, social media and emails. It's just not helpful. So things to do in the middle of the night that are relaxing to pass the time without forcing sleep, but do it outside of bed. So good examples would be, it really varies for everybody. Reading an old school book is great. Magazines, I like to run, so I have a lot of running magazines that I just keep on my coffee table that I'll look through in the middle of the night. I have patients that knit. They do needlepoint, adult coloring books. Meditations are great, but I like people to try and do just deep breathing or meditation or relaxation exercises that don't require an app, because then you get sucked into the time. So really just do something in the middle of the night to pass the time without forcing sleep. When you get sleepy again, if you get sleepy again, then go back to bed.
So definitely get out of the bed if you can't sleep.
Yes, and the one other thing to add is when you get out of the bed, don't then go and sleep in a different bed or on your couch, which so many people do, because then you train yourself that your own bed is actually worse to sleep in, and you find that you fall asleep easier on the couch, and you start having that pattern happen over and over again.
Is there a certain time or a specific time that people tend to wake up in the middle of the night?
No, it really varies. I mean, some people notice, we have sleep cycles throughout the night that are about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Some people wake up after every sleep cycle, or they wake up after the first sleep. I mean, we all wake up after every sleep cycle, but some people remember them more. It really varies on the person. Some people wake up because they have to go to the bathroom at 3 in the morning, and then they can't go back to bed. So it really does vary on the person.
And is this then always caused by stress, or can it also have a physical, any other, how do you say it, reason why?
There can be so many reasons, and sometimes there's no reason, right? Sometimes, like I was saying, some people just wake up. I have patients that come to me and say, I wake up at 2 in the morning every single night without fail. That's because they've trained themselves. After a sleep cycle, they wake up, they look at the clock. So now they've trained themselves to look at the clock every time they finish a sleep cycle. So it's more of a learned behavior. But there can be pain for some people. For some women especially, it can be hormones that can really change, especially as we hit perimenopause. For some people, snoring can cause awakenings. So that's something you might want to look at. There are so many different reasons. And then, like I said, sometimes you've just trained yourself to do it.
So it's not only stress. I think it's also good to highlight that. Otherwise people go like, get stressed about not being able to sleep. One last question, because you just mentioned sleep cycles. I'm really interested. How does it work?
Yeah, I think people often will say, I want to get that deep sleep all night long. I just want to be knocked out. It's like, that's actually not normal. So when you go to sleep, you're awake, and then we have this light, we call it stage 1 sleep. It's that kind of like in between. Some people say, I don't know if I'm asleep, but I'm in and out.
Slumbering or so?
Kind of. It's that just like twilight sleep, we'll call it. And then you go from there into the stage 2, which is this middle level sleep. It's just kind of restorative. It's where you spend a good percentage of the night kind of just sleeping. And then we cycle into something called deep sleep, stage 3. That's when your body is totally turned off. It's restoring itself, repairing your muscles. A lot of things are happening. And then you cycle from that up to REM. REM is that very active sleep where your brain is dreaming. It's like filing memories. And then after REM, you actually wake up. And then you cycle through all those stages again and then wake up again. And the normal sleeper goes through all those cycles 5 to 7 times a night with a quick awakening after each cycle. It's just most people don't remember those awakenings. If you have 1 or 2 awakenings, they're pretty quick. You go back to sleep. It's not a thing to worry about.
So maybe people who wake up in the middle of the night just have a stronger sort of impulse for waking up at that stage, or not?
It could very well be that way. Sometimes that is very true. And if you find that you have a lot of awakenings, your sleep is very broken, or you're frustrated with how broken it is, or you have a lot of trouble going back to sleep, it's not just a minute or 2, that's when you want to talk to your doctor.
Well, very interesting. Thank you so much. Tomorrow we're going to talk about, maybe you can tell us.
What do you do if you're tired, but you're just not sleepy enough to go to sleep? We're going to talk about what that means and how you can help it.
Wow, I look forward to that because I have that very often.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.